It's been 1 month since I arrived here in Costa Rica, and this video is to go over every single cent that exited my bank account so that you can get an understanding of what the cost of living is like in this beautiful country. Now, before I hop into the details and go over all the numbers, there's a few things that I think are very important to mention. Number one, I'm recording this from Guanacaste, which is the main province in the northwest of the country on the Pacific coast. I am near Playa Flamingo, which is considered one of the more expensive regions of this country. If you choose another destination, if you choose another region, there's a good to fair chance that every single number that I go over will drop. I also would like to note that I am not primarily focused on budgeting everything at all costs. I will be going over the places that I know in month 2 coming up that I will cut back on. And as this is my first month here in Costa Rica, I did spend more than I was expecting to, but a lot of that was from the first week or so, not understanding the currency, not understanding the rules of the land. And those are the details that you will learn in this video so that you do not make the same mistakes that I did. Now, without further ado, let's go into the first category, the most important one, the one you're probably wondering about the most, which is rent. My rent for a 2-bedroom apartment near Flamingo, which is fully furnished on a short term outside of Airbnb, I know these people and I'm booking it through them directly, is $1,250 per month. All figures in this video will be USD. I think that's great value, especially considering before when I was living in Miami, I was spending around $2,850. But that didn't include Wi-Fi or utilities, or if I had a car, parking, or pest control, which they billed me for, or all the other fees that came with my building, like HOA and all that stuff. My rent actually came out to be around $3,200 a month in South Beach before this. This includes everything. So this includes my Wi-Fi, this includes heating, this includes my parking spot, this includes all of that. Now, the next category is one of the biggest categories on this list, and that is my car and the transportation costs that come with it. Now, renting a car in Costa Rica is not necessarily cheap. Mine is $900 a month, and that includes insurance as well. So I don't have to worry too much about getting that for an additional cost. I probably could get this expense a little bit lower, but from the research that I've done for a 4-wheel drive car, for an SUV, which you're going to want in Costa Rica, the roads are not always paved, they are quite bumpy, and even when they are paved, there are potholes in them and lots of speed bumps. So you're going to need something that is at least a little bit beefy, which is going to cost you more. If you're in another part of the country and say it's Santa Teresa, you can probably get away with an ATV for the month, which might cost $400 or $500 a month, and then that way you don't have to have the car. But the car is nice because it gives you more flexibility for longer road trips. After the car, there's gas, and I filled the tank up twice, and that was a total of $72. Now, I did do a road trip from Guanacaste all the way to San Jose. I did that once, there and back. I needed to fill up once for that. So it took me about 2 weeks of driving locally to, actually almost 3 weeks of driving locally to empty the tank, and then another big road trip. So that was like 1.5 to 2 tanks of gas total that I used over the course of the month. The next expense that I got was a phone plan, and I got my phone plan with a company called Colby. That is $70 a month, and I did get unlimited data with this. The next recurring expense is my gym membership. So my gym membership is $75 a month, but I added an extra $15 a month to get access to the pickleball courts. I love playing pickleball. I thought that was a great idea. However, what I learned is that when I was living in Miami, if I wanted to go play pickleball, I would just go play pickleball. I would go to the courts, I would show up, there would always be people there, there would always be a game. I've showed up to this pickleball court twice and no one is there. So it seems like this is one of those courts that you actually have to coordinate things a little bit. You gotta text people, you gotta meet people, you gotta organize a little bit of an event to go play. I'm honestly not really about that. I wanna play pickle, but I'd rather just show up and have a game ready. And so I don't think I'm gonna pay the $15 next month for the pickleball access, because I showed up twice and wasn't able to use it. And I felt like I was there at prime time in the morning and once in the evening. So that expense is going. The next category is what I spent at coffee shops. Now, to me, my coffee shop is basically my co-working space. Where I'm living out here in Flamingo, in the Potrero area, there isn't a co-working space in this neighborhood. The coffee shop will do. I've been going to this amazing place called Nita Coffee, and I go there pretty much every day, and I get my work done there for several hours. I get a cappuccino all the time, and sometimes I get a pastry. On occasion, I'll get a Costa Rican breakfast, and after going here most days of the month, my total expense was $109. Now, the next category is a lot more expensive than what I thought it was going to be here, and there's plenty of room for me to improve as well. So take this one with a grain of salt. But my grocery bill was $936 last month. Few points of context that I think are very important to note. One, I'm including essentials in here. I'm including things like paper towel. I'm including things like shaving cream or deodorant or other just random essentials that you're gonna need in day-to-day life to be hygienic or clean your house or that kind of stuff. So that's included in this. Number two, when I first came to Costa Rica, I didn't understand the currency. I didn't understand colones. I didn't understand how to translate that in my mind. And I ended up spending more than I was expecting to. So I would buy whatever steak I wanted. I would buy whatever item I wanted. And I was like, let me just put it in the cart and I'll see what it comes up to. And I'll use this as an anchor. My first grocery bill was $163. And that was basically me maxing out what a very expensive order would be. I learned a couple other things that I think are very important for you to know as well. Things like cheese are often imported, so cheeses are very expensive. Many fruits that aren't grown here are also quite expensive. Just anything imported is very expensive. So I was getting these tiny little containers of blueberries, and just a tiny little serving was $5. I remember I got dates a couple times, and these aren't even big dates. These dates felt smaller than usual, and these dates were $8 for a tiny little plastic container. Those things were really expensive. I remember one time I saw, and this is before I understood the currency, I saw these little glass jars of Greek yogurt, and I was like, oh my goodness, yes, I can get some Greek yogurt in a glass jar, not plastic. It's a little bit healthier. And turns out that each of those glass jars is $10 of Greek yogurt, and it's basically that's what you would have for a little breakfast. I stopped buying those. I did continue to buy these little Griega cups, which is this amazing brand down here that is 20 grams of protein and 1 gram of creatine in every little cup. But again, those are $3 per cup. I'm having at least one of those a day to get my protein intake up. That adds up. I also definitely did buy a lot of kombuchas. There's a bunch of different kombuchas that I've been trying. Some have CBD, which I've been very interested in. Some are just in little cans. And I got quite a few energy drinks as well to stay stimulated during the day. I can definitely cut back on those. So this $936, I think I can certainly get below $750. And I also think I might even be able to get it around $700 a month. Most of the foods that I'm eating is pretty much the same meals every day. I eat a lot of steak. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of avocados. I have a lot of smoothies, so I get fruits for that kind of stuff. But yeah, $936, that is what I spent, but I think I can get that down to $700 to $750. Now, the next is going out and socializing. So these are things like taking myself out to a little lunch brunch. These are things like going to events. This is the one date that I did go on and what that looked like and how much that cost. I spent $201 this month on brunches, dinners, and social activity. I did go to the pharmacy, and I did pick up some supplements as well, so I had to get some stuff at the pharmacy, and I had to get some supplements, so that was $49 for the month. I did one road trip from Guanacaste down to Alajuela, which is just outside of San Jose. I was there for 3 nights. The Airbnb cost $144 for those 3 nights. I had a beautiful, spacious, really nice Airbnb in a great part of town. While I was driving to Alajuela, I did encounter some tolls, and you have the tolls obviously on the way there and you have them coming back. The total expense for this was $8. One thing to note, if anything was in the cents, I just rounded it either up or down to the closest dollar to make this very simple and easy. Now, excursions and adventures that I participated in included a boat tour through the Tamarindo estuaries where I got to see crocodiles, I got to see raccoons, I got to go through the swamps and really learn more about the ecosystem here. You can see Jamie's Wildlife. Wildlife is literally in my username, and I have a hawk flying above me right now as I say that, which is unbelievable. That was crazy timing. I love wildlife. There's nothing I'm more passionate about. It's actually why I moved to Costa Rica, is to experience wildlife, film it, document it in their natural habitat. That tour was $50. Then I also did a wildlife refuge, and I also did a waterfall tour, and that makes up the remaining money for that. So the total was $133 for the month, spent on adventures and excursions. I did get one haircut that was $15, way cheaper than Miami. In Miami, I was spending around $70, including the tip and taxes. On a haircut, $70 to $75 in Miami. And the final category is miscellaneous. What that means is I spent $70 on a driver to get me from the airport in Liberia and bring me about an hour and 15 minutes to my apartment in Flamingo. And that itself was $70. So in total, I spent $4,039. That is how much I spent total on my cost of living here. This is noticeably cheaper than what I was doing in South Beach. In South Beach, I was spending around $7,000 to $7,500 a month across everything. And you might notice that insurance is not mentioned. I still got to get that sorted, so expect that bill to go up. But there's plenty of room for me to cut back on a few things. I think I can get this down by like $500 a month at least. My target is around $3,500 a month in spending while I'm here. And as I document more, as I film more of my life, hopefully some cool opportunities show up so I don't have to dip into my pocket as much to do these beautiful adventures. But that has been my experience as a digital nomad in Costa Rica, my first full month of living here, from mid-July to mid-August of 2025. Do these numbers surprise you? Is this higher than what you expected? Is this lower than what you expected? Is this something that you're considering? Let me know, because Costa Rica is the first place in Latin America I've actually set up shop in. I've traveled all around the world, but this is my first time actually living like a digital nomad, and I'm loving it. So stay tuned. I'm going to be documenting more of my experience here in Costa Rica. I'm going to share more wildlife, more experiences, more things to do. And if you have any questions, you can ask them below, or you can directly message me on Instagram. I'm always available at Jamie's Wildlife. But until next time, I hope you stay wild, live a beautiful life, and I will see you on the next one. Mwah.